Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial and Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom. Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom. Now, before I begin, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Consider joining the family. Leave your comments. Share the video to others who may not have Bravo, because I've been told that some people don't have the Bravo on their TV or their streaming services. Share the video so they know about Love Without Borders. And if you're interested, we also have your membership in the description box below. And if I didn't see already, leave your comments. I like reading your comments. So let's get started. Today's episode is Season 1, Episode 9, Love Without Borders, Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. Now, last week's episode, let me touch on a little bit. It was New Year's. All the couples celebrated New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and so we're rolling into the next day. And let's start off with Naim and Chandra. So Naim is out on the town exploring new things after he says Chandra and him had an argument. Now, if you recall last week's episode, if you saw it or not, Naim didn't come home after being out for New Year's, and Chandra was questioning him like, so where have you been? What you been doing? Because see, I came back home at 3:30 in the morning and you weren't there. Naim says, oh yeah, I was there, but I was sleeping. She goes, no, you weren't there. I knocked on your door and you weren't in the room. So he confessed and he said that he was at the gym and just hanging out. And she was like, no, because everything is closed on New Year's. You weren't at the gym. And then he finally just said, you know what? I just didn't feel like being at home because I just don't feel comfortable there being with you and all the disrespect that's happened. And then Chandra got upset. She was saying that, no, you disrespected me by going out and not telling me where you're going and lying about it. And I was thinking he disrespected you from the time that Naim got there. You disinvited him from Thanksgiving. You had your ex-boyfriend / Uber driver go to the club with you and Naim, and you were dancing with the ex-boyfriend all night. And then you and the ex-boyfriend came home and he ended up sleeping in your bed, even though you said you didn't do anything. So who was disrespecting who again? So moving on. So when we see Chandra, she has a visit from relationship expert Erica. Erica said that Chandra reached out to her to say that she doesn't think that her and Naim are getting along. She said she's not physically attracted to him. They have different astrology signs, and she just doesn't think they're a match. And so Erica's asking her, so what are your core values? What are you looking for? Have you really dug deep inside to know if it's really you or you and Naim? I mean, like, what is it that's happening in this relationship? Because you all don't seem like you're on the same page. And Shonda says, well, there's nothing that she can do. There's nothing that she wants to do. And if she wants to continue, it's a capital no. And I've heard it's a capital no before on another show. I just kind of think that's funny how they're like, it's a capital no. But anyways, so Chandra said she would like him out of her house today because it's over and she just doesn't want to pursue anything. And Erica agreed and said, she'll let Naim know. But during all that, I'm thinking when Chandra's talking, I'm thinking Naim already wants to be out of your house. He doesn't want to be with you. He's just there for maybe, I don't know, his time to be in Panama, because he said he's always wanted to be in Panama and to visit, but to be in the house, no, he's uncomfortable too. And so Chandra is also saying that she has been single by choice. So just in case we were confused, she's single by choice. And I mean, clearly you're single, but then again, the ex-boyfriend made us think maybe you kind of weren't, but you came on the show to find a match. And guess what? Sometimes the people who are matched to you on this show or any other show may not be the match for you. So it's time to move on and do something different. And so when we see Naim again, he's back at Chandra's house. She's actually helping him pack his clothes, and they seem like they're more friendlier, which is a good thing because it could have went so wrong. It could have went left, like almost every conversation went left, and just whatever they were trying to do. And she was like, "Do you need me help you to bring down my suitcases?" He's like, "No, I got it." Chandra wished him the best, and Naim wished her the best too. Naim says that he hopes that Chandra truly finds what she's looking for, and I thought that was a good thing. Now, when we see Naim next, he is at the hotel after he left Chandra's, right? So he's calling his friend and he's telling her, that he left the house and it just wasn't a good match, but he really likes it in Panama. Maybe he could see his future there. And then he went on to say that he met somebody. And we kind of saw the picture of Ori. I wasn't able to find it to bring it on the screen today. So maybe next week for the next show. He said, she might be who he came out here to be with, almost kind of like reading between the lines, like when one door closes, another one opens. So that's how Naim is looking at this. And so then the next day when we see Naim again, he's at a restaurant bar kind of thing, and he's sitting down waiting, and in comes Ori, and he is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He's got the biggest smile on his face. Naim says that Ori has spoken to his heart, and he feels at peace when he's with her. And Ori says she feels the same way. She says she's looking forward to more dates and see what God has planned for their future. So for the time being, Naim has found some happiness, and I'm happy for him. So his trip to Panama didn't go to waste. Let's move to Phil and Carmen. So Phil and Carmen are at the ocean. Phil set up a photo shoot with them. He says he's trying to be subtle with him being more forward, but he's also trying to show her that, he's into her more and that he's caught feelings. And I'm thinking, how come you just didn't tell her you caught feelings? Because sometimes gestures don't get looked at as, oh, does he have feelings for me? Or does she have feelings for me? Sometimes you just have to say, don't make someone guess. So also at the ocean, like I said, they're having a good time with that photo shoot. And then after the photo shoot, they go somewhere and they have a picnic by a waterfall. The waterfall is very, very beautiful. Matter of fact, I just like water in general. I like looking at the ocean and different things like that. One day I would like to see a waterfall in person myself. But while they're there, like I said, Phil has planned this picnic, and then he reaches behind him, the picnic basket, and gives Carmen flowers. She's like, "What did I do to deserve this?" And I'm like, "Girl, you don't have to do anything to deserve this. Matter of fact, in any other time, you could buy yourself flowers sometimes if you want to too." But Phil said, "You didn't do anything. I just want to show you that I care about you." So now in confessionals, Phil says that they're both in a good space, and it's good that they're he's trying to be more than friends. And he's trying to get out of the friend zone, and hopefully they can have more in the future. But when they come out that confessional and Carmen and Phil start to, open up those picnic baskets, something stings Carmen. And it turns out Phil said it was a wasp. And I'm like, "Girl, you handled that well." She was like, "Oh my gosh, let's just get this stuff. Let's just go ahead and go." She's still smiling. If it was me, I would have been like, protection would have to step in because, help me out. I just got stung by a wasp, and I heard those hurt and the poisons that the wasp gives. But she was a good sport about it. Now, Phil said that the wasp unfortunately ruined his proposal to Carmen to ask her to be her boyfriend in the moment. Somebody said he just wanted to say that, he's going to say, "Can we be official?" But that wasp ruined things for them. So that was Phil and Carmen. So let's move to, let's do Aaron and Mael. Now, if you've been following the show, is it any surprise that Aaron and Mael, when they go on to say that they're not connecting, more so Mael, I'm not surprised. I saw this from the very, very beginning. So in the morning after the New Year's, and Mael didn't get that kiss from Aaron like he thought he would at the stroke of midnight. They have a talk. Mael says he's feeling weird and confused and says his emotions are all over the place. He says to Aaron when Aaron arrived, I liked you, I was attracted to you, and I felt optimistic. Um, and then we see that Aaron and Mael, there was a quick scene that was shown that they were eating popcorn and watching a movie. And Mael said after they watched a movie, they hooked up. So he didn't understand really why Aaron has been like wishy-washy. And in my opinion, in the other videos or the reviews that I've done, I just think that Aaron is out of his element. I think Aaron was looking for a superhero, like a Thor type dude, because Aaron is, shorter by at least a foot than Aaron. I just think maybe he's not the right body type, just type the right size, height, and everything. So I think Aaron was turned off. But Mael was also saying to Aaron, I think that, even though you're not into this, how come we could be intimate? Like, you don't feel anything for that? And so Aaron said that even though they've hooked up a few times, he's felt pressure to be more than just, I guess, a hookup and have a true relationship. Well, Aaron, yes, that's why you're on the show. That's why you were selected to find true love, true relationship. Isn't that what you asked for? So Mael was your pick. And again, if he wasn't the one for you, I mean, you didn't have to like necessarily treat him like, ooh, you're here and you're in his space. But maybe that's just me observing it. I don't know. But Aaron says he doesn't feel any type of way. He doesn't feel bad for anything that's happened. He said he feels like, they're friends, but that's really about it. And he did say that, if you feel that way, I'm sorry that you do, but that's just what it is. And so Mael says, well, he doesn't know how to act in the moment. And they decided that for the time, they're going to be enjoying the moment. And then when we see them again, it seemed like it was like right after they talk, maybe an hour or two later, they decide, that's what it seemed like. It could have been a little bit longer, but they decide to walk to the bridge in France. And I've heard about it. It's a bridge and it has a fence on it where there's lots of locks. It's called lovers something, where you and your lover take a lock, you write your name and a date on it and put the lock on the fence, and then you toss the key in the river. And they went to go see if the lock was still there. And I don't understand why. I mean, maybe to reconnect, but there's nothing to reconnect with. But once they got there, they saw that all the locks were taken off. And I actually did hear that a while ago on the news that they removed the locks because it was got too, I don't know, congested or was overrun or something. They just wanted to re-beautify the area. And so when Aaron and Mael got there and saw that, they're like, oh, well, gosh, well, how does it make you feel that it's gone? We decided we're going to give it a try, give it a go. Mael was the more emotional one, but Mael normally is, because Mael understands how he feels and can express that, versus Aaron is more introverted and can't really express what he's feeling. But that's just what it was. When they got back to the house, because they didn't go anywhere else, Mael says, well, you know what? I don't feel like you gave it a fair shot, Aaron. And he says, it's best if you go home, best if you leave. And that's what they ended up doing. They ended up Aaron ended up leaving, and Mael was emotional, crying, thinking that he thought maybe Aaron could be somebody he would have a long-term relationship with. So, and unfortunately, it just wasn't. And like I said, I just think Aaron was just checked out from the very beginning, from the process. Now let's move to Dana and Brian. So Dana and Brian are at the bars having drinks. There's a band there. She asked if she could follow along. So she gets up and starts singing. And so, because music and everything is Dana's passion. Brian says that watching Dana in her element is exciting, and he feels like it is increasing Dana's attractiveness to him. Now, I've always had a theory about Brian I mentioned in previous reviews, that he always asked Dana more in-depth questions. He wanted to get to know who she was, but I never really thought or felt that Brian was into Dana the way Dana was into Brian. Matter of fact, I think I said that in the review verbatim, word for word. And so Dana's doing her thing, singing, and Brian's in the back, cheering her on in his own way, and just, like, I'm into this, right? And so when Dana comes back to the table, Dana says that the last few weeks have been a struggle, but not just the last few weeks have been a struggle, yes, but she feels that they're starting to get closer. They're starting to come back around to being a little bit more than friends right now. There's something that she's seeing that Brian's doing that's opening her eyes and her heart a little bit. And so while they're having drinks after Dana sings everything, when she sits back down, there's a guy at the next table behind them, and he says something. And Brian turns around and he starts laughing. And Dana said, well, what did he say? And what he said was, if you can't lift her, don't shift her. And Dana says, what does that mean? So apparently it's like, if I can't lift you up, my woman, my wife, my lady up, maybe like up off the threshold, pick her up, spin her around, whatever, don't kiss her. And so Dana was like, oh, that's rude. Like, why are you laughing at that? And Brian says, well, I can't help what they said at the table. But she's like, but you're laughing. And I see Dana's point, like, you're laughing like, like, how's that funny? And I'm sitting right here. So that's something that Brian doesn't seem to put two and two together. So he agreed that it was hurtful, but at the same time, again, if you're going to laugh at it, maybe it's not as hurtful as it comes across. Well, when we see Dana and Brian again, it's the next morning and they're out at the farm. I'm not sure if it's his farm or whatever, but they go out to the farm and they go out to talk and everything. And so one of the first things that Dana says again is she didn't appreciate the comments from yesterday at the bar. And then again, Brian was like, it wasn't a big deal. Dana says, it wasn't funny. I mean, why would you laugh? Like, you can't lift her, you don't shift her. She goes, you don't think that's hurtful? And then Brian tells Dana, it's nothing against your body. He thinks she's beautiful. And then he goes on to say, but out of a scale of 1 to 10, he goes, you're a 5. And Dana's looking like, a 5? He goes, well, you were a 2.5 when I first met you. I'm like, Brian. See, this is where Dana's going to reel it back in again, because when she first came, you were all up on her, you were kissing her, you were hugging her, you were rubbing on her, y'all laid in a bed together, whether you did something or not, you were being more intimate, and that's what Dana's problem is. You go from being all lovey-dovey to telling your sister in other episodes that, I'm not your type and you want someone more natural, to laughing at the comments made by someone else at the bar. Yes, they weren't your comments, but it still comes across like you agreed with, it's implying that you think I'm not attractive, you can't pick me up. Dana's already having an issue with you not liking her for who she is. So yeah, I can see the drama. And then in confessionals, Brian says that Dana takes things more personal, and that she takes a lot of things more personal than his ex-girlfriend. Once again, comparison. And if you've got to compare, why is it that you broke up with your ex-girlfriend, or did she break up with you? I mean, what is the cause? Because Brian's not making a good case for himself. So, also, when Brian is trying to convince Dana that, it's not what it seems, there's a cow in the background that's like, moo. And Dana's like, even the cow is calling BS on your conversation. So Dana is not trying to hear any of this anymore and doesn't know which Brian to believe in. And I understand where she's coming from with that. And so let's see who is next. Let's go to finally Shiraz and Gabby. This is the most I've seen Shiraz open up Because listen, when he was with Gurleen, Shiraz just wasn't, I don't know, he always seemed like he wasn't having a good time. He looked like he was always on eggshells. And I can see why, because Gurleen's personality was one of, if you didn't necessarily agree with what she said or on the things she thought about her activism and just in general, yeah, no, it would be like a long night. But this is Gabby. Gabby arrived last week. She's his newest match. Shiraz says that he's very attracted to Gabby. They go out on the town, they have dinner, they're talking. And then something interesting he said. He says that in Dubai, you can't have alcohol or order alcohol with your drinks or at a restaurant or bar, wherever, without having a valid ID. But if you're a tourist, you could either use your passport or your visa. So that's interesting. And then the conversation goes into religion. Gabby says that she doesn't know too much about the Hindu religion, but hoping that he would teach her. And then Shiraz said that there's different types of Hindu. I didn't know that either, but there's different types of Hindu, and his parents speak different Hindu languages. And he's actually learned both the Hindu languages. And he also said, not just that, Shiraz speaks 4 languages. And Gabby says, I respect that. And I respect that too, because listen, to speak 1 language and then 2, but 4, that's amazing. So anyways, the conversation also goes into what they're both looking for and where do they see themselves? Like, what do they like to be, like to travel? Do they want to stay in Dubai? Like, what's their favorite country? And so Gabby said that her favorite country to travel to is London. And then Shiraz said, oh, that's mine too. So they connect on that travel kind of thing. But one thing that Gabby says is that in confessional, that she loves to be close to her family, and being in Dubai is tough. She's tough based on the time difference and just, the traditions in general. But I mean, she's here for a reason. She's here for a match, and she's going to give it a try. So the next day, Shiraz and Gabby are doing all kinds of activities. I mean, things I haven't seen Shiraz do like since we saw him on the show. In the morning, they're at a pool, like a day club kind of pool. In the afternoon, they're doing like those like go-karts at amusement go-karts. I'm guessing it was like at a track. I'm not sure it was an amusement park, but that's what they're doing. And then in the evening time, they're having dinner. So they are doing it. I'm happy to see Shiraz getting out and not just like stuck at a table having heated conversations with your match, So, so like I said, later on in the evening, they're having dinner, but dinner is actually at Shiraz's parents' house. And on the way to the house, Gabby's nervous. And I think Shiraz is a bit nervous too. Now, one thing in confessional, he says he hopes that Gabby gets along, show her face again, with his family, because any disrespect will be a deal breaker. And I don't blame him for that. That would be the same for me, a deal breaker. You disrespect anyone in my family, and you don't know them, and they didn't do anything to you? Yes, deal breaker. So Shiraz's family is welcome, and they prepare dinner for them all. And yeah, they asked her questions, about her in general, and she said what she did for work and things like that. And Gabby said that she understands that his Shiraz's last match didn't work out and how difficult it must have been for the entire family. But she said that she's not like that. And if you have any questions or want to know anything about me, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to answer them for you. And I respected Gabby for. That was very nice to make them at ease, to know that I'm not just over here just to be over here. And if there's anything you want to know, ask me. So that was cool. But one of the questions Shiraz's mom did ask was about New Jersey, where she's from, and her family. And Gabby said that, yes, she lives in New Jersey. Her mom lives down the block or something from her, and they're really close. And she's also close with her family. She says that she likes to travel internationally, and boop, the matchmaker have her traveled here, and here she is, and she likes it so far. And, the conversation just went from there. So the evening went pretty well. And I was happy that it's a new vibe, a new energy that came in that Sharia's family can see from these women that the matchmaker is having for their son. Because the dad said, my son's a good boy. And, we just want to see him, be at his best, do his best, and, go with someone, have a family, and do what he does, So, yeah, I think it went well. And then later when Shiraz and Gabby went back home, he's telling her that, he appreciated her. He made him feel comfortable, and he's actually has feelings for her. And she said that she felt the same. She feels, feelings coming up for him too. And he's amazing. He's attractive and wants to see where it goes. But in confessional, Gabby says that she's confused about her feelings and she does want a romantic relationship. And she says she's not sure if she wants to stay in Dubai or not. So I think she doesn't want to necessarily stay too long in Dubai because maybe it's too far from home. And I don't know. That's what I'm getting. Like she'll be homesick or something. And that was it. So that was it of Love Without Borders, Season 1, Episode 9, Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. So we have Naim and Chandra. They broke up. Naim moved on to Ori. That's someone he met in Panama that they seem to be connecting. Phil and Carmen, I personally think they're still in the friend zone, but Phil says he's trying to get his feelings across to Carmen. So maybe we'll see what's going on in the next episode. Shiraz and Gabby, so far, their connection is there. They're vibing, but looks like something's going to come up with Gabby having to come home to be in her brother's wedding and not sure if she's going to come back to Dubai. So we'll have to wait on that. And then Aaron and Mael are no more. They broke up. And Dana and Brian, to me, is very, very shaky. Dana needs to go inside to see what she really wants for herself, because I'm not sure Brian is really here for Dana the way that she needs him to be for her. So, all right, everyone. Well, thank you again for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, leave your comments, and until next week, everybody, thank you again for watching. Live simply, be grateful.